Everybody, thanks so much for listening to Fire Breathing Rob. If you're listening to us for the first time, please subscribe, like, and share. We greatly appreciate it. And definitely share and subscribe, because we want to get these interviews out to as many people as possible. They're with really important people and real important topics. We have Elaine Kennelly on, and we've had her on before. She's just wonderful and really a breath of fresh air in general. And I love having her on. And this is definitely not going to be the last time we have you on, Elaine, for sure, because you have a lot of stuff in the mix. I mean, she just told me, for people that are listening, she has a Christmas book coming out, and also another book coming out besides that. I won't bring that up. I'll let you bring that up, Elaine. But Elaine Kennelly, thanks so much. And we're happy to have you on, and we're always happy to have you in general.
Thank you so much, Rob. I love being here. I love talking with you. I think our conversations are very worthwhile. And so it's a joy to be here.
Right. So we have a lot of stuff to talk about. So last time we came on, it was really a sad and touching story. You talked about your book, and we can go into that a little bit if you'd like, also, if you want to. But I do want to go into some new topics. And this is Suicide Prevention Month. With that going on, we have saw in, I don't even know if it's just this month, but it's been in the last few months to even a year, male suicide is on the rise. So what can we do, whether it's, a guy friend, a father, a son, an uncle? What can they all do if they see somebody that they're friendly with or somebody that's in the family to make sure that they don't, get to that point, I guess I should say?
Well, it's a difficult topic to discuss, but I think there are some real key things to remember. If you're at work even, or if you're with a friend and you sense, and you have sensed it for a while, that they're depressed, just from their conversation, I think an excellent question that I found to be helpful to me is, I say, have you ever thought about falling asleep and never waking up again? Does that sound attractive to you? And it's kind of, it's not saying, well, are you having problems at home? Or, you know what I mean? It's not a real direct question. It's kind of a softer way to put it. Do you wish you could go to sleep and never wake up again? And if they answer to the positive, well, that then opens the door to talk to them. And really the most key thing is talking to them. We can't just close them out. We can't just shut them out. The conversation is what's going to help at that time.
Do you know why male suicide, or do you have even opinion, if you don't know why personally, why male suicide has went up in the past few years?
Well, first of all of the numbers are higher. The suicide numbers are about 50,000 in America every year for about the last 3 or 4 years. But with COVID, across the world, they have really escalated. 1.3 million suicides were counted last year in 2020. And I hope that we don't see that again. But we also see accidental drug overdoses. And that's almost close to 100,000 people in America. 93,000 people, over 93 deaths were recorded that were listed as accidental drug overdoses. And some of those were suicides, that. So that 50,000 number that's always given to us, I think, is a low number. And I'm really concerned about the fact that suicides are getting more prevalent in the younger children. I mean, 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds. Suicide is the second leading cause of death in the 10 to 30 age range. The second leading cause of death. I mean, how old are you, Rob? You're probably still 30.
32. You're very, very close. I could lie about my age and say 20, but I'll go with the real age.
Well, think about that. It's the second leading cause of death from 10 to 30. Now that's a lot of people in America alone.
So what can we personally do? I know you said about talking about, asking those questions, those indirect questions to people that you're friendly with, people that you may work with, family in general that you may think are going through these rough times. What can we do personally? Should we try to keep inviting these people out to events, or maybe calling them more, texting them more, whatever it may be? And then if you see that person is really kind of putting you out to pasture in general and doesn't want to be around you, then maybe is that the time to call and notify someone?
Well, first of all, keeping in touch with people. I
Yeah.
think the isolation due to COVID, that's hurt people. We've missed our friends. We've missed that getting together with people that we like. And I think being a friend, inviting them to events, keeping in touch with them, texting them, that's so important. All of that communication is good. Also, keep in mind that it depends too upon the age of the person. If it is someone that is, in high school or even younger than that, we really must notify someone in their family, their parents, their guardians, someone, if you know a grandmother, we really do have to get them connected, even though they may tell you, they may ask you, don't tell anybody. Really, you have to be sensitive to the fact that you can say, maybe, until I know you're safe, I really do have to share this with someone because I'm concerned about you. It's that care, it's compassion. I think America has lost its compassionate, its kindness. Who's kind nowadays? Nobody's kind. And we need to have that caring heart to let people know that they are important. I wish I could go back and have another great conversation with my son. And anyone who has lost a loved one to suicide, you wish you could have one more conversation. Because very well, my son was only 18. Very well, Rob, that he could have gotten over whatever topic, whatever was really troubling him. To this day, I don't know exactly what it was. Why did he make that choice? I don't know. So that he could have gotten over that. And I would have had many, many years to have him as my son. So I wish truly that I could have had one more conversation. So yes, talking and caring is so important. Kindness is important. And it's listening. Nobody listens anymore. Everybody wants to talk. I mean, somebody has to listen. And in that listening, you show that you really care.
No, I agree 100%. It's really scary. So, I wanted to ask you this, and maybe this is drifting away toward the suicide part of the program, but I do want to ask you, you are writing another book. Can you talk to the viewers about that?
I certainly can. In fact, it's at the editor already, and I'm just about complete, even with the editing process.
Wow.
It is, I guess I could call it, it's a sequel to my first book, which is Finding Peace After a Suicide Loss. And it's a book, it's kind of an inspirational book. It gives daily messages so that people can read something short and get something helpful for them to get through the grieving, or to maybe help answer a question. In fact, there's in the book, there's 31 questions, because I know after my son died, I had a lot of questions and nobody could really answer. I kind of had to work through some of that, of course, and it took me a long time. So I'm hoping to help people who have had a tragic loss. Maybe it wasn't a suicide. It might have been one of those drug overdoses, where it wasn't an intentional death, or it might even be a car accident, anything that's tragic like that. It's hard to grieve through that, especially a child. And so that the book is going to be inspirational, and it's going to have short chapters with even a few, shall I say, thoughts that they can, ponder. Because I think we have to get our minds in the right place to heal. I was stuck in a lot of bitterness and anger for a long time, and that wasn't a very good place to heal.
Right. Yeah, it's really hard. And if you do want to check out the book, the first book, I'm saying, Finding Peace After a Suicide Loss. Again, Elaine Kennelly, that is Kennelly. Definitely check it out and look it up. It's definitely a book that can really help you through tough times, and you learn a lot through that book. We've done an interview with Elaine too, and I'll put that in the description box also. Now, before we end the interview, I have to ask you, I was just looking this up, and you did another book that we never talked about. And this says it's back in 2012, Something Sisters 31-Day Devotional. Now, what is all that about?
That was my first book.
Okay.
And so that always has, the first of anything, it kind of grabs your heart for a long time. I have a group of friends, and we call ourselves the Something Sisters because we are really something. And it's a group of, I've known them for years and years. And so I did, again, it's an inspirational book, and it's got these little messages for each day. And so I enjoyed writing it. That was a long time ago. It wasn't my best book, but you have to start somewhere, right? Yeah. And I'm also working on a Christmas book for children.
Right.
And that'll be a happier book. And so maybe one of our conversations on your show will have to be a happy conversation.
Elaine, let's end this interview with some hope before I get to my last question. So, can you tell the viewers whether they're millennials, they're older, they're even younger than millennials? Give them a little bit of hope as we end the interview.
There is hope for life because problems can be solved. You have had problems, I've had problems. We've been able to work them through. We perhaps have a doctor helping us. This is another important thing to remember. If you know someone who's depressed, encourage them to see a doctor, as well as keeping in touch with them and befriending them and being kind to them, as we spoke about. But the important thing is to remember that what may be bothering us today may not last our entire life, because we always have hope that tomorrow brings a better day, that we feel better, that we know without a doubt that we will get better. It's that whole feeling that we have someone watching over us. We have a heavenly Father as well as an earthly Father. And so I strongly encourage people to have hope for tomorrow. It's not going to be desperate, even as our country is. I have hope for America. I really do, because we have people that we know that are doing the right thing. And maybe all of us have to kind of get back to doing the right thing again and being kind and compassionate. So there is hope in the world for us, Rob. I truly believe that.
As we end the interview, again, Elaine Kennelly, if you want to check out her books, definitely check out Finding Peace After a Suicide Loss. And I'm going to say, Elaine, the other book. So, check out Elaine Kennelly's books, Finding Peace After a Suicide Loss. And the first book, which we just found out about today, is Something Sisters, a 31-Day Devotional. So, Elaine, first of all, thanks so much for coming on. And where can people find more about you and get these two books and all the other books that are going to be coming out pretty soon?
Well, first of all, I have a website. And because my name is rather difficult to spell, the website is www.suicidehealing.com. But on Amazon, I've got several books on Amazon. And of course, the books are available on any online store and in bookstores. In fact, I'm just going to be doing a book signing at Barnes and Noble this Saturday here in Loveland. So they're in bookstores and they're online, so they are available. But my website, and one thing about my website that I'd like to just mention, every week I have a blog on Monday mornings. I have a new blog, and if you subscribe to my website, you'll get it sent automatically into your email. And that too is an encouraging message. It's an uplifting, inspirational message. And I think that helps people. It helps me. So I know that it helps others because I have many people subscribe to that. So that's on the website also.
Well, great. And definitely look for that. Elaine Kennelly, thanks so much for your time. It's always a pleasure. And I look forward to more and more chats together. Like I said, you're amazing. Thanks so much for this.
Thank you, Rob. We'll see you again.